Okay, what I'm going to demonstrate with this video is how to automate tasks on screen in a graphical environment. In this case, that environment is using the window manager and its Xorg, and the underlying operating system, for anyone curious, is a little old school. It's 64-bit Slackware, Linux. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to automate some rather tedious and repetitive tasks by loading these 4 podcast files, which are from the John Batchelor Show, for anyone who'd like to know, into Audacity. And then what it will do, once it's loaded those, it will attach these to the beginning of them, or append them. And what they are is identifying audio files. So if you'll notice that, like this one, for instance, the first hour of the John Batchelor Show, I have lettered A, so it's obviously John Batchelor Show, JBS, and then the date in month, and the month, date, and year in 2-digit format. And then the hour is an A, and then the second hour is a B, third hour C, and the fourth hour D. And what it'll do is it'll append the sound of a voice saying A at the beginning of the A hour. You know, that's kind of strange, but the reason for that is I know which hour is being played without having to look down at the player, and I know what the progress is on listening to the show. Anyway, what it will do is it will do that, and then the script will exit. It's kind of a semi-automatic script, and the main program that the script uses is a little program called Xdotool, which is a fake mouse and keyboard. So it allows you to automate things you do with a pointer and the keyboard in scripting. And at that point, it will exit once it's appended that audio, and then set it up for me to edit. And then at that point, when I edit, I'll divide each of these files. Because basically, it's a commercial radio program. So since he's got to run 20 minutes worth of commercials each hour, each of these files is almost exactly 40 minutes long. And it's entirely an interview-driven show, and he does 4 interviews per each of those hours. So some of the interviews are more interesting than others. So the reason I'm going to divide these is because of that. If I run across in a segment that's on a subject I'm just not really interested in, it makes it so much easier, rather than having to play on through that uninteresting segment or hit fast forward and try to find out where the next segment is. I already have them divided, so I can just click next on the player and go to a more interesting segment. So again, you have these 4 original MP3s for the podcast, plus the 4 more identifying audio files that it will load. And then I'll go ahead and load them now with a script, which will exit once it's done that first half of the process. I'll make the edits, and then it will run the second half of the process. So it automatically starts, automatically loads. And even as it's loading, you can see the file names of the respective files right here. You can see that. And I didn't really have to automate this part of it, but I thought, well, if I'll automate as much as I can in this. And the one part I can't automate is finding where each of the commercial breaks are. So that's why I do it this way. And it works pretty well. For some reason, that does have some glitches where occasionally when I run it, especially the second half of the script, it will stick, and it will, instead of actually finishing the process, it'll just start playing. So anyway, here it goes. And it's doing this way more quickly than you can see. You can't really tell exactly what's happening, but that's actually appending that audio to each of those. So I'll put this one in solo, which is the first hour of the A hour, and you can even hear it.
A.
That's kind of annoying, but that's what you hear at the beginning of the hour. That's what it did. So at this point, I'll go ahead and find the divisions for each of these and cut and paste them to the bottom, respectively. So here's the first division, holding in the open bracket while it's playing. Once it goes silent, release, then select the beginning of the file, then cut, then paste. So there's that one. This one's division is probably right here. This is the second segment I'm trying to find. Cut, paste. And I'm out of room at the bottom, so you have to click in the open this space down here. You have to click right down there in order to paste. Just for anyone who wants to know. And again, I'm holding in the open bracket as it's playing. Once it goes silent for a moment, I release. And this time, I'm going to cut the 4th segment, unsolo, since I'm going to go ahead and edit another file at this point. I'm finished with the cutting. And I'm going to use this, move track to bottom, move the 3rd track to the bottom, click down in the open space, and then paste the 4th track. So now I've gotten that split into four tracks. I'm going to use, again, move track to bottom, move the second, or the B hour to the bottom. So now I'm there. Division's probably right around here. Go silent for a moment, I let go of the open bracket. And I did. Yep. Paste. And I'll select there. Iron Man. That's the first time I've heard him use Iron Man as intermission music between breaks, if you will. But that's funny. Paste. Now I'm out of room at the bottom again, so I have to scroll up a little. And this one's break is right about here. Anyone curious about? It's not consistent, but usually where you'll find the commercial breaks where the audio narrows down considerably, like that one. So that's that. B hour now is fully divided. Now for the C hour, move to bottom. This part of the editing I just cannot automate with scripting. I just don't know a way to do it. I have to do this part. Whoops, wrong thing. Anyway, I have to do this little part by hand. I haven't found a way to find the hourly divisions precisely otherwise. Paste that. And now for the fourth segment. And I'm holding in the open bracket. I'm going to go silent, let go. Found that one. Again, move track to bottom for the third segment, then paste the fourth segment to the bottom. All I've got left is the D hour, which is right up here. Track to bottom. You see, as I operate on each individual MP3 file, I'm clicking solo on it so that the others are inaudible. They're still playing, but it silences them. There's that first division. I've got to scroll up a little to get some space to paste into down below. So I didn't quite find that division, so it's actually closer to here. Yes, I'm being a little more exacting about where the divisions are because it's obviously just music in between. I'm still showing how exact it can be if you want, which I do. There's the second segment. The third segment looks really easy. It looks as if there's nothing playing at all, and there's not. So that was the easiest one to find. Cut the fourth segment, move the third to the bottom, paste the fourth. So now we have 16 divided files, but I still need to run the part of the script that automatically renames them and numbers them so that instead of JBS A underscore A, it'll be JBS underscore A 1 through 4, and then B, and so on. So I'm going to rerun this script now and hide this window and then go ahead and start it. And it will do that. Then it will apply the leveler and then normalize effects, which make the audio easier to listen to. Then it will automatically export the audio and then exit the program, then delete the 8 actually original files with the only 16 new files. I hope this works. Sometimes it doesn't go right. It's going to go right this time, I can tell just watching. And what it's doing right here is it's automatically renaming them all consistently. And that's, of course, the leveler effect. I even set it up so that this window could be up where you could see it, but I just went ahead and let it minimize it so that I can see other windows on screen more easily. That was just something I threw into the script, but anyway, you can see levelers happening here, which takes roughly between 30 and 45 seconds to run. And if anyone curious about it, since it's like I have a moment to say, leveler basically does it. I guess the colloquial term is it compresses the audio, meaning it smooths out a lot of the peaks and valleys so that you're not straining to hear something one moment, then having to turn the volume down the next because you turned the volume up too loud beforehand to hear the quiet parts. So that, I wouldn't do that with music because you want all the dynamic range there, but for an interview show it's nicer to be able to hear everything clearly. That's why I do that. And then normalize is being applied as each file is being processed. By the way, you can see it show up here. And normalize basically, after the leveler's been applied, it maximizes the volume but doesn't allow distortion. So it's almost done with the normalize now, and the window will come back up. There it's doing the export now. At this point, if you want to think of, if anyone doesn't know what export is within Audacity, export is just the same as save in any other program, but it calls it that because you may have, what I did initially, 4 original MP3 files that are still there, but what it's doing is, now that I've made edits, it's sending them out and saving those, and that's what it's doing now. And it's going pretty quickly, and as you can see each file name as it's being saved. And you'll notice I did all these edits in one Audacity window. I've seen some people do edits with Audacity and open multiple windows, which may be okay if you're working on multiple projects at the same time, but I like opening them all in one for a single project instead of doing it that way. So it's easier to see what you're doing, and if you do know what you're doing, you can silence the others, which I did, and work on just one at a time. But this works pretty well. Again, sometimes it doesn't, and I haven't figured out why. If I were better at bash scripting, I'd probably have figured out a long time ago. But it works well enough that I can do well most of the time. At this point, it's already exactly halfway through the export process. And each file, and the files are varying lengths, or give or take 1 or 2 minutes. They take roughly 10 seconds a piece to save. So what, 16 files? That's just over a minute's worth of time to save them all. As you can see, it's already saving the C4 file. And again, you can, up here you can see these 8 files here, and when it's done completely, these won't be here anymore. You'll see the file names as you're seeing them being saved here will be the only ones left of the MP3 files. Of course, when I show you those, you'll see the capture files, which are this very video capture itself, you'll see even, but you can ignore those. But the MP3 files are what it's exporting there. So now you see the script is smart enough, it can detect when this file right here is being saved, and it keys on that. The moment this window closes, it will automatically quit Audacity at that point. It did, and I just deleted those original 4 plus the identifying audio files. Now all I have for MP3s are these right here. And that's how it does it. I'll even play just one of them so you can hear it just for a second. And that's the first one.
A.
So that's kind of annoying, and then I'll even play the B hour. And again, the B hour, once the B hour starts, I'll hear
B.
that's pretty loud. But anyway, that demonstrates how that works. And it works well enough for me, and I like it pretty well. It's not perfect, but anyone wondering if you can automate tasks in a graphical environment, it can be done. It just takes quite a bit of learning to do it.